So in this video, I'm going to teach you 3 tactics that I've learned that have helped me stop being so sensitive, stop taking things personally, and most importantly, stop replaying bad negative experiences and feeling bad about it for hours, days, months, and years. And in this video, I'm going to show you the tactics so you can also get the same thing. Now, this was probably one of the biggest problems that I struggle with in my life. So for example, if I went out in public and if I bought something, and let's say I'm checking out, I'm about to leave, I'm about to take what's mine. If I said thank you, and if the person or like the cashier didn't say you're welcome or like smile back at me, I would take it really personally. And this is something that I've struggled with for the majority of my life. Like if this were to happen to me, I would remember it for days, months, sometimes even years. I would feel bad about it. I would think, is there something wrong with me? Why didn't they say you're welcome? Why didn't they acknowledge me? I remember this one time that in 2023, this was like my first day of university. This was like my first year and the first day of the semester, right? And during this time, I had worked on my social skills for a while. Now that it's the first day of class, it's a fresh start. I'm in a new city, a new school with over 40,000 people, right? I'm going to be social. I'm going to make a bunch of friends. So that first day of class, I remember I was like super hyped up. I was super hyped up. The day started and I told myself, I'm going to talk to a bunch of different people. I'm going to meet a bunch of people. I'm going to make friends with everyone. And class started, right? I go to my first class. I meet some people. And I'm on my way walking to the second class. This second class is probably one of the biggest buildings in my university, right? And during this class, I'm walking towards the right, and it's during like 12 p.m. It's like midday, okay? So I'm going to this class. I'm super hyped up. My class is in like this big lecture hall, right? With like, you can probably sit like thousands of kids in there, right? Thousands of students. And I'm super hyped up. I walk in the big building. I'm walking to my lecture hall, right? And I see the door. Now there's nobody coming in the door. I'm usually early, so I could get a good seat. But as I'm going, I'm about to open the door into the lecture hall where my second class is, right? As I'm like really close about to open the door, I notice that there's some guy next to me. There's some guy coming behind me, and he looks like he's coming the same way, right? So I was like super positive. I was like super happy. I'm like, you know what? I don't usually open the door for people behind me, but I think I'm gonna do it this time. I'm just gonna be nice. I'm positive. I'm super hyped up for a new semester, right? It's a whole new me. And so, I take the door to the lecture hall where my class is, and I open the door, right? And I see the guy, he's coming in, and I'm ready to like say what's up to him. I'm just like, oh, I'm gonna say what's up to him. I'm gonna smile, open the door, say what's up to him. And as he comes in, I'm expecting him to say, oh, thank you, and at least smile or like acknowledge me, right? But he doesn't do that. Instead, I open the door. This guy literally looks at me while I'm opening the door for him with the most disgusting face ever. Looks straight, walks in the classroom, and doesn't say anything. And in this moment, that version of me back then, I took this really personally. It was almost as like I had like a hole in my heart. This created like a hole in my heart. I started thinking in my head, why didn't he say anything? He didn't acknowledge me. Is there something wrong with me? Does my appearance look bad? Like, is he racist? Like, what's the problem? And so, I go in this class, I get to see the class starts. But honestly, during this class, during this lecture, what happened to me, this negative experience kind of impacted me. It kind of like sidetracked my day. I remember during the lecture, I was trying to pay attention, but I couldn't because I was literally replaying this terrible experience in my mind. And it kind of sidetracked me. I was supposed to have this hyped up positive day, but instead of like being the social guy I wanted to, I was kind of quiet, and it kind of made me think negatively about myself. And what happened. This wasn't the first time that this happened to me, right? I have had multiple experiences like that kind of happened to me, right? And because of this, I'm just like, I can't let this control my life anymore. I can't think about things that have happened to me and be affected by it personally, like taking it personally for days, weeks, months, and years. So during this point, I started doing a ton of research, hours of YouTube videos, books on how to not care about what people think about you, advice from older guys who are way older than me. And within all that research, within all that work on trying to not take things personally and overthink these things for a very long time, here are the three tactics that have helped me to stop overthinking and actually just like, in a way, if this were to happen to me over again, I don't take it personally. I think about it, of course, but it's kind of just like, oh, that's weird. But with these three tactics, I'm going to show you, you will literally stop overthinking and feeling bad about things that have happened in the past. So the first tactic that I have for you is eating a high protein diet. Now, this might seem super confusing, especially if you're not into fitness or nutrition, but your diet makes or breaks this thing right here. Your diet literally breaks the way you process things and the way you think about yourself. You see, throughout the majority of my life, I have not had a good diet. Now, I come from immigrant parents, so what that means, that there's nothing wrong with that, but what that means is that most of the time, my parents just wanted to get me some food. As long as I had some food on the table, I was okay. As long as I got something to eat. But when that happens, you're not necessarily caring about the quality of food that you're eating or what types of food. So I remember like when I was like 10 years old, I used to have this karate class, right? And I was doing this to get some exercise because during this time I was overweight. But I remember every single time after this karate class, my parents would pick me up, and after every single session that I would exercise, right, they would buy me a chocolate milk and a donut from Dunkin' Donuts. Now, there's a reason why I'm telling you this, right? And I noticed that during this time when my diet was full of processed foods, sugar, and carbs, right, I was overly sensitive to things. I was sensitive to school. I would overplay things in my mind. And this all changed once I started getting into fitness. Because once I started fitness, right, I started going to the gym, and then I realized that your diet has a huge part in not only growing muscle and exercising. Yeah, like yes, protein helps you build muscle, but this thing right here, it's literally the right foods that your body was meant to receive. Like these whole foods are literally meant to give your body the right nutrients to have a well-functioning brain. And if I wasn't into weightlifting, if I didn't join like a paid testosterone group, like I used to be obsessed with testosterone, so I joined a paid group one time, and I was learning from testosterone doctors. I was learning from people like Alex Fedorsky, Ray Peat. These are like testosterone coaches who are on social media, right? When I was in this paid group, I learned a bunch of research, and I started learning that the food that I was eating for the gym, like high protein diets, eggs, steaks, what else? Fish, these contribute to your diet and they make you feel 10 times better about yourself. So eat a high protein diet. I'm not saying don't eat sugary snacks once in a while. I'm not saying never cheat. You can have fun once in a while with your friends if you want, but if you're eating sugar, processed carbs, foods that are high in carbs, you're going to be really tired, and these are going to make you more emotional and sensitive. If your diet is not on point, if your body is not receiving the right nutrients in order to have your brain functioning, then of course you're going to be sensitive and overthinking about these things. Like eating healthy has honestly changed my life so much. I remember like before I would eat like sugary like sodas all day. I would eat hot Cheetos, salty snacks high in carbs, and I would be so emotional. I would go in public, and if people didn't acknowledge me or say thank you or anything, I would take it personally. Even stuff my family would say, even like little jokes, I would take it personally. But once I started eating a clean diet, once I started eating high protein diets, low carbs, high protein, that's when I started not taking it as personally. And it all comes down to the right foods, because you're eating the right foods. These are the best for your body. The second tactic that I have for you is having something bigger to care about. And I'm going to give you an example on how this changed my life, okay? So I got this tip from this really popular YouTuber. His name's Hamza, right? Surely you've heard of him. You've probably seen or heard one of his videos, right? He basically gave this example on how, imagine you were an MMA fighter, and the day comes when you're supposed to fight. You have a huge fight, right? Imagine like you've been training your whole life for this. You've been training for months, maybe even years for this fight. And imagine the day on the fight, you go and you get like a protein bar, you go in public, right? Let's say someone insults you or someone looks at you with a disgusted face, right? Would you really care about that other person's opinion? No, you probably wouldn't, right? And why wouldn't you care? Because you're literally an MMA fighter. You're literally about to fight someone in a few hours. Your life is literally on the line. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because when you have something up here, when you have a goal and when you have a purpose, there is no need to be worried about what other people are going to say. It's like this matters so much. It's like it doesn't even care. And I'm gonna give you a story on how I realized this works. Okay, so I remember last year, 2024, I had a huge exam. Now this exam, right? I really wasn't prepared for. I knew it was an important class, but I just didn't study enough for the exam itself. So I remember I was walking to the dining hall because I needed to get some food. I was super hungry, and I usually try to eat before my test, right? But I remember that I was low-key I wasn't stressing about this exam, but I knew I had to study before I was going to take it that day, right? Or else I was going to completely fail. So that whole day, I'm like, oh shoot, like I got to study for this exam, but I got to get lunch at the same time, right? So, I'm speed walking to this dining hall. And I get to this dining hall, right? And I'm just worried. I'm just obsessed about studying the most efficient way to pass this test, right? Or else I'm screwed. And I remember as I go into the dining hall, I take out my card, right? Because at the university that I go to, you have to swipe your card in order to like go into the dining hall so they can tell you're a student. So I swipe my card, and I'm someone I make social skills on this channel. So I try my best to be a positive guy. I'm always positive. I always say hi to people. And I scan my card. I was trying to say what's up to the worker who was scanning my card. And I scan my card in the dining hall. I get to the dining hall, I scan it, and I say what's up to him. And he just looks at me, and then he just continues talking to the person next to him. And honestly, the older version of me, right, would have taken that really personally. I would have thought, oh, dang, he didn't say what's up to me. He didn't even acknowledge me. Is there something wrong with me? But because I didn't care, I had this exam that was like my highest priority. I literally walked past and I didn't even remember it. I didn't even remember that story, honestly. I just kind of remembered it a couple of days ago. But when you have something up here, you are literally like the insult and the bad negative experience that you happen to experience, it doesn't even matter. Now, am I saying to stress about exams? Am I saying to, go do MMA? If you want to, sure, because that's definitely going to help you. That's going to be prioritization. But what I'm saying is that when you have something bigger to care about, a goal, a busy schedule, places you have to go, that is literally going to be the mindset. That's going to be the main thing you're prioritizing. And anything else that happens, like a negative experience, it's just gonna be in the way. It's just like, oh my gosh, it's just like it's holding me back. It's holding me back on what I'm supposed to do. So there is an importance of having a life, having a schedule, having goals in your life that you need to do. So they are so high that the negative experiences that you're going to experience don't even matter. The second tactic that I have for you, and this has honestly changed my whole perspective on experiencing negative feedback, right? This tactic is realizing that negativity is inevitable. What do I mean by this? You are going to experience negativity in your life whatsoever. There is no life you can experience where you experience a negative free life. Now, I know that sounds kind of lame, but let me tell you something. Let me put this into perspective, because this example right here changed my life. And one day I was watching soccer, right? So I was watching this soccer match, and I'm watching my team, which is a team in Spain called FC Barcelona, right? I was watching this team, and I was just like, these athletes, they literally live the best life ever. Athletes, they literally get paid thousands of dollars a week. They get literally all the fans in the world. They get literally all the fame. They get to play a sport for life. They must be just like, they must have like the best life ever, right? But one day I was watching them, and I was just like, wait, these guys, these athletes, right? They literally play into a stadium. They go into a stadium in front of 50,000 people. The opposite team that they're playing against, they're being booed by this team. They're being booed, racist chants. If they mess up in the game, the media is on them. They have fans. Literally, if they mess up in a game, fans are literally sending them millions of DMs criticizing them. And then I realized that the most successful people in life receive the most criticism. Now think about it for a second, because I know it sounds kind of lame, but think about it. Athletes, entrepreneurs, famous people, anybody successful is going to experience criticism. These entrepreneurs, right, that you see online, they're getting thousands of hate comments. So what I'm saying is that I'm assuming you want to experience some sort of successful life. I'm assuming that you don't want to be a McDonald's worker. I'm assuming you don't want to be a janitor, because you wouldn't be watching this video if you did, right? Because you want to fix this problem. So I'm assuming you want some successful life where you're making a decent amount of money and you like what you're doing, right? But you know what? If you're getting sidetracked, if you're taking these negative experiences personally by people, honestly, I feel like someone who's like that won't make it where they want to be. Because in order to be up here, you need to experience negativity. So why am I telling you this? Don't see negative experiences as something bad. Don't see them as something that puts you down, okay? Because first realize that anybody in the world is going to experience negativity, right? But think about it like this. This is what I do. I see it as something that's building me up. So anyone that laughs at me, anyone that makes fun of me, I'm just like, oh wait, no, this is totally normal. I'm going to experience more of this in the future. Like for right now, I'm doing YouTube, right? I'm going to experience more hate comments in the future. I'm going to get tons of people in the future who are literally going to say that my videos suck or that they don't like my content or they think I'm ugly, right? Whatever. So if I'm going to experience more of this, if I want to be successful, why am I letting these little things happen right here? So think about that. Don't see negative experiences with people as a negative, as an L. See it as something that's building you up, something you have to get used to. Think about it as, oh, this is just normal. This is preparing me for, I'm going to get used to this in the future. So think about that. These tactics have really helped me stop taking things personally and not replay these things in my mind. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.